Alright, let's make a pad. Combinator. Name it. Thor. Initialize it. Open it up. Turn it to square wave on the analog oscillator with the pulse width in the middle, so it actually is a square wave. And I'm going to take it up an octave as well. Now I could play lower on my keyboard, but that would involve moving my left hand, which is currently busy kicking ass on Dead Rising 2. So for the pad tone, we're going to turn the sustain to full for volume and make sure the filter frequency is opened up nicely. For extra thickness, we're going to right click, create UN16 unison unit, which makes a bunch of versions of the sound all slightly detuned, kind of like a multi-oscillator in Thor, with a tiny detune amount, full wet, and 16 voices for maximum viscosity. So let's take a listen to what it is so far, just playing some notes on the keyboard. And with the unison 16. Sweet! Now, you want a bit of brightness to distort, so we're going to add, right-click, create, Scream 4 distortion unit. Fuzz mode is really good for this. We're going to maximize that P1 just to get maximum tone, but leave that P2 just somewhere in the middle, because if it's too high, it becomes too piercing. We're going to remove the cut and body sections, so we've just got this damage, and take a listen to it. Voila! deadmau5 would be jealous. Well, if it wasn't for the fact he was already a horrendously rich, world-renowned producer. So, to tidy up the distortion a bit, we're going to filter out the low end, either with a state variable filter in Thor, or what I'll go with, the stereo imager's convenient alternate function. In fact, I tend to end up using the stereo imager more for this than actually for stereo imaging. It's kind of like someone you normally wouldn't date, but since they have a really nice car they drive you about in, you'd probably go for it a lot more. So, we're going to hit the solo high band, and you can hear compared to normal. Maybe if we bring up the crossover frequency, you can hear it a lot more. Just filters out that low end and stops it being too muddy. Chuck on a maximizer, just to bring up the level a bit, and add that delicious soft clip distortion that I can see you're so hungry for, even more than you're hungry for a sumptuous, perfectly crafted toffee cheesecake. So that's that conventional distorted square pad sound, kind of simple, but I wanted to do something a little bit different with it in this track. So, we head back up to Thor. I'm going to bring the envelope up quite a bit in the filter, frequency down to half, and we're going to bring this decay on the filter envelope right down. Take off the sustain, and bring the release right down to about 14 milliseconds in the envelope, and then I'll add in some notes. Okay, there's the notes, soloed out, so let's take a listen. That pad has suddenly become a cool blippy synth. It's weird how often you end up with something completely different than you initially conceived just by going with a random idea. Don't feel forced to follow these instructions to the letter. If you hear something that takes your ear, roll with it and see what happens. In fact, for a tiny bit more variety, let's tempo sync LFO1 with a 4:1 rate, so it modulates every 4 bars, and run it into the filter envelope decay, so LFO1 to filter envelope decay by about 50, and take a listen. It's just modulating a tiny amount. Maybe if I bring it up you can hear it better. And that just adds a bit of movement over time. This kind of subtle effect can help a repetitive sound become a lot more interesting. And there we have it. A big lead pad. More all-consuming than the internet's hatred for Rebecca Black, though I kinda like that song. And a square pad that transformed into a sweet blippy synth like some sort of awesome transforming robot warrior. What are they called? GoBots, that's it. So join me tomorrow for day 4, where I'll be compiling an awesome ARP synth and a big bass pad to finish off all the synths in this song. See ya!